Hello. Today we're going to talk about graduate schools in STEM and what you can do to prepare for your application process. So quick overview of our discussion. We're going to talk a little bit about the CNS Career Center, what resources we offer, and then discuss the differences between masters and PhDs, and then jump into some common application requirements and how to stand out in those requirements. So the CNS Career Center is located in Morrill 2 in Suite 321. We offer walk-in or drop-in advising with our peer advisors during the semester, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The peer advisors are great with resume review, cover letter review, where to find information for internships and research opportunities, how to prepare for a career fair, how to do a LinkedIn account. And again, you do not need an appointment to meet with a peer advisor. You just come by our office between 10 and 5, Monday through Friday. So in addition, there are one-on-one career advisor meetings available. You go to that appointment request on your Handshake account. And career advisors are full-time staff members who can meet with you to, discuss further about your resume or your cover letter, talk about your interest in graduate school and how you might prepare for that process, do mock interviews, or prepare for any upcoming career fairs and interactions with employers that you might have. We also have a internship and research database where students are reporting what internships they've done in the past, so you can learn more about that. We have pre-recorded workshops on our website, and we also offer a weekly Thursday newsletter that has information about upcoming events, career fairs, things to keep in mind in regards to your career development, as well as open positions for internships and full-time jobs. We have a career development handbook, and this QR code on the screen will take you right to that. In the handbook, there are resume examples, cover letter examples, information on how to create a LinkedIn account, and interviewing as well. So it's a really good starting point if you're not sure how to write a resume or a cover letter or what to put on your LinkedIn profile. So with those resources in mind, we are going to jump into our discussion on graduate school. So for some clarification, when we're talking about graduate programs, we're usually talking about either a master's program or a PhD program. And the differences between those two is that generally a master's program is a 2 to 3 year commitment. It often leads to higher starting pay in job positions, as opposed to if you were applying for the same position with just a bachelor's degree. And master's programs usually end with a capstone course or thesis. PhD programs are a longer commitment, usually 5 to 7 years. They are heavily focused on research, and they typically end with a comprehensive exam and dissertation. It's important to know that some companies can provide funding for their employees towards completing graduate programs. So if you're someone who's not sure if you want to continue on with your education and you're interviewing for positions, knowing if your employer can offer some sort of compensation to work towards a master's or PhD can really help you identify what employers you might be interested in working with. There are also some accelerated master's programs offered at UMass. They're typically called 4+1 programs. There's a variety of majors that this is offered for, including food science, geography, math, microbiome, molecular and cellular biology, neuroscience, plant and soil science. So those are available to apply for if you want that accelerated master's program, and you can find more about those opportunities on UMass's graduate school website. Many schools, in addition to UMass, offer fully online programs. So if you're someone who's interested in working full-time and working towards a master's degree, you can look for online programs that usually have more flexibility with when assignments are due, when courses and lectures are offered, so that you're able to do both at the same time. So as you're thinking about, what do you need to do in order to figure out what graduate programs you want to apply to, whether they're master's or PhD. You need to start doing research and figure out what type of program are you interested in, and where do those programs exist? What universities and colleges offer them? We have a great resource on our website that has information on different databases to use to do a search on a particular type of graduate program and find universities that offer them. It can also be really helpful to connect with your faculty members and have conversations with them about what programs they might know of that offer a particular type of master's or PhD that you're interested in. That's a good piece of networking, right? So you know that your faculty members went to a variety of universities and institutions, and they also have a wide network of peers who've also gone through different programs, and they know about those through, their own networking. So when you start your graduate program search, you're going to want to take notes, and this is a simple spreadsheet to keep in mind that might help you identify different programs. So what university and college is it? What city and state are they located in? What's the program title? How many students attend that school? What's the application deadline? Do they require a personal statement, the GRE, reference letters, application fees, and are there assistantships available? Common application requirements for graduate programs are typically a CV, which is usually an extended version of your resume, a personal statement, letters of recommendation, typically 2 to 4. Some programs do require standardized test scores, and copies of your transcripts from UMass. So how to stand out, right, with all of those pieces of your application, right? That's what the review committee is going to be looking at to see if they want to accept you into their program. You want to think about your experience. So what experiential learning opportunities have you engaged in outside of the classroom that give you more of an understanding of this field that you want to commit additional time and education towards? So think about your research experiences inside and outside the classroom. If you did an honors thesis, any internships, jobs, or co-ops, and having those be related towards the field that you want to go into is really helpful to have on your applications for graduate programs. You'll want to think about the clubs and organizations that you're a part of, whether you're on the e-board or a member, right? There's a lot of clubs on campus at UMass that are focused on particular majors or interests of study. And then keep in mind your relevant courses and GPA. So when you're looking at a graduate program's website to find out more about the program, you really want to read closely through what they're indicating that they offer through the program. So I went through and underlined some aspects of this program at UMass that stood out to me. So they say this program will foster a collaborative environment that encourages interdisciplinary research, right? So they'll likely be looking for someone who has experience working in teams, working in groups, and has some exposure to research. Interest areas in biological chemistry, molecular biophysics, cellular and developmental biology, and biomedicine. So if you've taken any of those courses as an undergrad, that can be helpful to include on your resume or in your personal statement. And they're looking for students interested in a career in life sciences research in various aspects, including biomedicine. So if that's something that you're really interested in, or is something that you've been considering, you'll want to include that in your personal statement. The program will have descriptions on their website where they're sharing more about what you're going to gain from the program. And as you're thinking as a candidate, this is where you want to share that you have any exposure to these topics in your applications. This is a little bit more about the program. And again, I just went through and underlined what stood out to me. So master's students are required to have a home laboratory prior to admissions. So again, you're going to be working on research within these programs. So you'll want to share any previous lab and research experience that you've had. You're going to continue research started in final undergraduate years. Coursework in the first semester includes core courses, advanced molecular biology. Second semester, you're going to take advanced cellular biology or biochem 623. and you're going to complete a master's outline at the beginning of the semester and defend a thesis. So as you're thinking as a candidate, if you have, again, any exposure to these types of environments, writing a thesis, conducting research, interacting with faculty and advisors, you'll want to make sure that's represented through your applications. So how do you share with a graduate program review committee that you have the experience that they're looking for? So you're going to use your CV or extended resume. So a CV is a document used to present your professional background, qualifications, and experience. It's often more detailed than a resume. You'll want to include any presentations you've done, poster projects, research that you've been a part of, an honors thesis if you completed one, more information about the education you've gained as an undergraduate student, in addition to what might already be on your resume, including jobs, internships, co-ops, and those experiences that you've been a part of. This is an example of a resume that could be used as a CV. And you'll see it's just a little bit more extended, right? They share more about their relevant courses, the lab skills that they have, and they jump specifically into their lab experience. So this document can be really helpful as you're considering what CV or resume you want to submit for graduate school applications. And this is the bottom part of this document, right? So they also include their extracurricular involvement, additional skills outside of lab skills. So the personal statement is usually a essay that asks you to share why you're interested in this particular program and what exposure to these topics you already have. Each program that you're applying to might have its own word and character page limits, so you'll need to pay attention to that. And each program might ask specific questions, or they might just say, submit a personal statement and not give you any sort of prompts. So you'll really have to pay attention for each program you're applying for and make sure that you're meeting the requirements that they set up for the personal statement. When you're writing the personal statement, the opening line should be engaging and grab the reader's attention. The review committee has, a whole pool of candidates, and you want to make sure that you're standing out in their mind. And the way that you do that is by having an interesting opening line that really pulls the reader in. And you'll want to pay attention to the flow of paragraphs in your personal statement. Some questions to consider when you're writing your personal statement include, who are you and what events in your life helped to shape your identity? Why do you want to participate in this program, and how have you affirmed that decision? Where did your original interest in the field begin? And as an adult, what experiences have helped confirm this initial interest? Another question to think about is, who do you aspire to be as a professional in your field? What impact do you want to have? What career goals are you hoping to achieve, and why? So you don't want to just restate what's on your resume or transcript. You really want to tell more of your story of why are you so interested in this master's program? What professional do you want to be within the field? How have you affirmed your decision to continue on this path to reach, higher education that's required? Beyond the personal statement, you often need recommendation letters, and they vary in how many letters that you need. Typically 2 to 4 is pretty common. The letters should come from people with the ability to evaluate your work. So faculty, lab PIs, internship supervisors, etc. You'll want to contact your letter writers and provide them with your updated resume or CV, cover letter, or personal statement, and information about what programs you're applying to. And you need to ask early. Faculty are pretty commonly asked for recommendation letters, but that means that they also usually have a decent amount that they need to be working on, and you need to give them enough time to write a good letter for you. So reach out early and have those conversations with your faculty further in time before the applications are due. So some key takeaways. You want to engage with course topics that you're interested in outside of the classroom if you're able to. And that can include internships, research positions, jobs, volunteer, leadership opportunities. These opportunities are what's going to help you on your resume or CV, your personal statement, and your recommendation letters to stand out as an applicant in the pool for graduate programs. And you want to check in with the Career Center for support. If you're considering graduate programs, meet with us and let's talk about what next steps you need to be taking in order to be a successful candidate. If you have any questions about this presentation, please contact us at our email on the screen and we'd be happy to assist. Take care. Bye.